Hello guys, and welcome to a new WARNO video today by me, Vulcan. In this one I have for you a 4 versus 4 on Isura, and I'm going to be playing with the new 6th Light French Division. This is the 6th Light tank, which has a lot of the AMX-10s, which were already really good units in the game, and now we've got even more in this particular division, so we'll be making good use of them today. But we are playing on the new map Isura, which looks absolutely awesome with this big river that heads all the way around, and it also has these sort of urban areas. There's sort of more of an industrial area in the center that you can fight over, but I'm going to be taking this sort of left forested area today. But as you can see, Mirage 2000 out at the start, and this is mainly to counter the enemy UAVs, since there are a lot of those rocket UAVs in the new divisions. I wanted to make sure I had the Mirage out, and I'm just protecting Grim Guy's field supply point here from being spotted by those should they head in our direction. But at the front here, let's have a quick look at what we're getting down. So I've got some of these Legere Éclaireurs, which are the Legionnaire recon units. We've got Crap, which is the really fun named Special Forces. Unfortunately, they missed their LRA-C, so the Spetsnaz are able to unload, but we've got the AMX-10 here firing away. And this is an AMX-10 with 2,275 meter range, 70% accuracy, and it's got very good optics, so really nice. It's also resolute because it's a Legion unit, so that's really cool. We've got another one on the right hand side. We've got a couple of the Dynops here. These are more special forces, so these are divers. They have 4 MP5s, a satchel charge and smoke, so I've got them doubled up in this case for the heavy cover here so that I can push back any infantry at close range using the shock trait. We've got another one of the crap squads heading into the right side, and we got the Legionnaire there as well. Behind those I've got the Tarrasque Legion, which is the 20mm on the back of the truck with the resolute trait. We've also got the AMX-10 RC PC, which is the leader, which was just running around capturing these points. I've also got a Crotal further back, which is long-range radar AA, so that's ready to take down enemy aircraft alongside the Mirage 2000. Now P4 Milan on the way, as well as the AMX-10 RCSB Legion. Now this one is the creme de la crop. We've got 19 penetration at 2,275 in the range, and you see there with the extra penetration we've got 75% accuracy. We've also got resolute trait. We've also got the electro-optical dazzler, which is basically 10% ECM. What that means is it causes, there's a 10% chance it causes enemy missiles heading its way to miss, so that's nice, as well as of course smoke. So the way that we're going to have to use these AMX-10s is we can't like brute force our way into this T-80 that we just saw over here at Hotel. I'm going to have to use the trees to get close and get ambushing shots on target, and it's going to be very easy with something like the AMX-10 where they've already got the very good optics, but with the AMX-10 RC here with mediocre optics, I've got to kind of rely on the recon of my other squads to make sure that I get that done. So ways to EPI here is going to be my opponent, and the P4 Milan already opening up with its Milan 2. Nice thing about the P4 Milan in this position is it does again have resolute trait, so if a shot lands nearby that doesn't hit, it's not going to suppress or lower the cohesion of the unit as easily. But you can see my MX-10 here managed to get a really nice ambushing first shot onto the T-80U, second shot goes into the front armor and finishes it off. So really nice stuff. Good start for me for sure against my opponent. Well, on the left hand side here we've got a Grim Guy who's going to be assaulting this little high rise position with his Pioneers. He's playing with the new Canadians. On my right hand side we have Valdus, who's playing with the 1st Luftlander, which I've shown previously, and over on the far right we've got Silva playing with the new Spanish division. So all of the different divisions on the NATO side being shown off in this game as well, which is another reason that I wanted to share this replay with you guys today. So Crap doing well there to push out the Modostrauki, and you can see that I'm really trying to spread out my recon, make sure that I have good coverage over the front line, and meanwhile the P4s that dropped off the Legion here are going to be zooming into the back line because they do have good optics themselves, so I'm hoping to maybe find an enemy artillery piece or enemy like field supply point something like that, so that we can then hit it with our artillery, or we can get our teammates to also hit it with artillery. But more Legion going to be on the way. And so far, yeah, we're doing a pretty good job of holding the line, spreading out nicely. You can see I've also got a group anti-char here moving in. These guys are the squads with 2 Apalas. Apalas are very fast firing 21 penetration rockets with 60% accuracy, so having that over on the left hand side here to cover off this road basically. Meanwhile, Motostrauki struggling against my special forces. Honestly, the special forces trait on these makes the weapons so much better, because they take less suppression in combat and deal more damage. Usually these weapons, like on a standard Grenadier Voltigeur or something like that, wouldn't be too great, but yeah, the special forces trait really making the difference. Over here I did spot a bunch of stuff coming across the bridge, so I'm just going to park up my little truck in the farm and hope that it doesn't get spotted. And we've got another one that's trying to get across the river over here, but unfortunately gets taken out on the bridge. So no luck for me finding anything important on the backside, but that's okay, because we've already taken out and dealt some decent damage on the front line. T-80UD also taking a little bit of a chunk out the front armor, thanks to the AMX-10 getting the ambushing shot on target. But artillery going to be forcing me out of that position. We've got the Muster there, very close to the front line. Doesn't usually need to be that close. And in this case, Ways to Eat Pie, putting it there. So currently more or less 50-50. Unfortunately, Grim Guy not being able to contest Lima at the moment leaves us with a +2 for the enemy. Probably just comes down to not having a good start, so he's got to recover and then push back in. Meanwhile, I'm just going to continue to put the pressure on so that I can maybe negate this +2 advantage, because I'm in a pretty good position right now. Friendly artillery coming in on the backside from the M109s of Valdis. They're going to be hitting the Tunguska there. And we have managed to get a good shot onto the T-80 BVK, which is nice. And the Milan Legion trying to finish that off. I've also got the MX-10 RC moving up, but we're going to be able to take out the Muster there, as that was placed too far forwards. The Legion sappers moving through with their glorious hats, trying to get them nice and close so that we can kill off the infantry with a satchel charge. There is also the Spetsnaz Komnoti there, which is the leader that is contesting the AMX-10 RC, so if I can kill that, then it puts us in a really nice position. So Spetsnaz Komnoti either have to kind of leave the sector and try and run away, or they're going to have to just try and contest the Legion, but no chance. Not going to get out of there in time. So I'm focusing them down, allowing the AMX-10 to capture this. We're also getting the shot in there with the AMX-10 RC Legion to kill off the machine gun, and now my HGM's having a go at the BMP-1, but my MX-10, that's going to have to back off because of the T-80UD back here. And my Legion on this side did manage to get across the bridge and is now driving up the backside once again. Bombing strikes coming in. Fortunately missing my Legion there, so not ideal. 224N. I think it was not in range to kill my Crotal, but I realized at this point I do need a second one to make sure that I'm covering the skies properly. The crap falling back. Legion trying to just maintain eyes on these units here. Legionnaire sappers holding the line. Mirage 2000 diving for the Su-24. You can see there here the poor P4 finally gets finished off, but here comes double Jaguar cluster, take out the Tunguska and the T-80UD, lovely stuff. Jaguar was looking for the bombing strike onto the enemy artillery further back here that I'd spotted earlier firing, but I didn't manage to get the bombs off because I didn't give it a fire position order. Instead I'd right-click them. So that was a bit of a mistake on my part, but capturing this is now putting us at a +2 because Grimguy's managed to get his infantry into the sector. His Canadian forces contesting that nicely. 224 coming in with the bombs once again, and unfortunately missing the mark. The Legion moving just enough to one side to stop that from being a problem. We've got the TRM 10,000 coming up. That's going to be ready to repair my AMX-10s, which have been doing a fantastic job so far on the front line. We've got two Crotals into position now. Just got to be a little bit careful about the seed, but otherwise will be very useful for taking out the Su-24s that Waste2Pi is using in abundance. At close range though, the Motostrelki no chance against the Legion. Unless the Su-24 comes in with the laser guided bomb, but I think he was maybe trying to snipe the position of the AMX-10 RC. Didn't work out from this time, and that's damage, so it's going to take a little while now to be ready again. But full hold on the left for Grimguy is nice. It pushes us back onto a +4 now, which is really, really good. Allows us to catch up on the conquest points. So Legion, Claro taking out the OT 810, and perhaps now engaging the Streltsy. Because of the shock and special forces, we should win this engagement. The shock's not actually activated at that range. When the shock's activated, this little symbol on the right hand side that's like grayed out becomes white, and then you can see that the shock trait is playing a part. So I'm actually going to move over the TRM 2000 here just to get the 20mm on target and help with the fire, but of course Commissar also has the T54 and the SD100 putting their shots on target, so it's not ideal. Zalesnitze now going to be pushing towards us. Commissar also bringing his T-54s over on this left-hand side, so trying to help out Waze here. Su-24 in again. Doesn't manage to get one of its missiles on target of the Crotale, even though I didn't turn off the Crotale. Just kind of turned that away a little bit too soon. AMX-10 here doing a good job of sniping. Really good job of sniping. Since they have the 2 vet, they have the 75% accuracy, and it's going to allow me to just be killing these BRDMs really, really nicely. I'm going to be backing up with the MX-10s here along the way as well. Su-24 does try and pop one of them, but misses. Does take down the cohesion of the MX-10, which is meaning it's going to be a lot less accurate now. But we're still able to get shots on. Second AT doesn't hit the mark either, so that works out nicely. Su-24M with the LGB does not hit the mark. So T-54 goes down. We managed to snipe a gas on the left-hand side there as well. Waste2Pi is trying to get his leader in just to stop the bleeding of the conquest points for the time being. But straight into the MX-10. They're taken out. I've also got 2 of the Legionnaires moving up with the LRAC, so we're just keeping on the pressure. Unfortunately, finally one of the MX-10s goes down to the AT of the Su-22. Just staying out of range of the T-54 though, to try and finish that off. And we do manage to get it. Su-24 M4 now coming in. So many aircraft, and I'm not able to shoot them down. I've got 3 Crotales now on the front that are looking to kill these Su-22s, but they do have 30% ECM each. The Su-24M Seed here actually has 60% ECM, so even harder for me to hit those, even though the Crotale does have 60% accuracy itself. Now Spetsnaz Komroti putting themselves in harm's way to try and get the cap on the sector instead of the MTLB. I did manage to get my Blindee in position for the crap, so we are going to be able to fix them up, keeping my special forces online. I haven't actually got a leader to these 2 yet, or sorry, supply to these 2 yet, because I've been focused on macro elsewhere. But overall, things are looking pretty good between me and Valdis. Grimguy's holding the left. Silver's having a little bit of a hard time at Bravo. But as long as I can keep pressure on here, it's all good. T-34 85. Just escaping the Milan 2 shot there. Spetsnaz unfortunately gonna be taken out pretty easily by the MX-10s. So I move those up. MiG-21 coming in with nice cluster there. Nice double kill onto the 1A1A1s, but there goes the Spetsnaz, and that's going to be the sector under our control once again. We're going to continue to run forwards with our conquest lead. What I'm trying to do really here is get my units forwards enough that I'm in positions where I can ambush the counterattack with the AMX-10s, but there is just so many aircraft like constantly coming in. In this case, lucky to take down one of the Su-24Ms, and it misses my recon, so that was nice. The other 2 shots not hitting the mark onto the Seed aircraft, unfortunately. I do have a couple of units here, the Knop and the Legion, just to kind of help hold the line. And I also did start to bring in some units over on the right hand side. So I'm actually bringing the VAB Mephisto over to the right to assist Silver, because I feel like the best way generally to help your team out is to try and get like supporting units into position rather than frontline units. In this case, AMX-10 doing a great job getting right into the back line there, taking out both of the artillery, so we get rid of those. Also going to be able to shoot down the MiG-21 MF, but unfortunately AMX-10 passes the corner where there's 2 tanks on the main road, so it doesn't manage to get away from those. A little bit unfortunate on my part. VAB Mephisto is going to end up bumping into the Monostrelti RPG-7, and my Legionnaires are not going to be unloading in time. This is the big problem with obviously helping your allies, especially on a map this big. Like, I obviously wasn't paying attention to that as they came into the tree line, so they do end up getting killed off. But the whole idea here is for, like, this Mephisto, for example, to sit back in the tree line and fire at max range with its Age of Gems to kind of assist in any push that is trying to be made. But yeah, did try and come in there with the cluster strikes. You can see here both my Jaguars get shot down, so I do lose both of my cluster capability, and I also lost the MX-10, so we've taken a lot of losses in the last few minutes, which is really, really rough for me. Oh, poor Hornet going down there. Nice bombing strike though from the HE. Does take a hit on the way out, but killed the leader, so really good kill from Grim. Unfortunate that goes down afterwards. Hornet out for the count. Trying to push up the recon here just to get into even better positions. You can see this one's kind of defending this road. But I'm going to be bumping into the special forces of the Czechoslovakians, so those recon squads will take me out. But the Mephisto Legion hitting the mark with the help of the P4 Milan Legion. These Hot 2s, they have 24 penetration, and there you can see planted straight into the side armor of the T-80 and finishes it off, so nicely done. 2 more of those big tanks taken care of. We're currently just kind of taking it easy here, bringing up some more units to the right hand side. Now I lost the ones previously, going to be playing them a little bit safer this time around. So a couple of the Legion sappers with flamethrowers. I've also got an MX-10 RC moving up here to try and help Valdus with the attack onto his sector. Nice kill though onto the V3S here, taking out a couple of infantry for free. There's a guided bombs not quite hitting the mark. I feel like Where's the T-Pie didn't really know how to use these very effectively. Ideally you want to be able to see the target when you're using those. You don't want to like fire position them onto the ground, because otherwise they don't really have the same accuracy that they otherwise would have. So lots and lots of infantry moving up onto us. But nice kill there by the MX-10 straight into the side armor of the T-80UD. And the main way that Waze 2 needs to get around this is he has to use some sort of recon and then basically pop the AMX-10s with not necessarily a first shot, but if he has the front armor facing, because he knows where the MX-10s are, then the T-80s will take no damage, and they'll probably one-shot the MX-10s in return. Like at that range, the AMX-10 just gets one-shot by a T-80U, I'm pretty sure. Right, infantry is going to continue to try and come in here. Any that get close, we can engage with the Dynops here, which are my Special Forces shock diver units with the satchels. We got the Mephisto still putting damage into the T-80UD. You see it in the front armor there, it's still tanking that pretty nicely. Su-24 coming through with the laser guided bomb, this time perfectly on target. There we go, that's what we like to see. AMX-10 RCSB Legion going down, and the Su-24M even gets out alive. So pretty rough for me, and now the Su-24 M4 from Commissar also having a go, but does end up getting taken out. So good engagement. Now pushing through the trees here with Silver Raptor. So he's got his Fusileros, which are his Spanish troops, apparently immune to fire. We're just not taking much damage from that. So they're pushing forwards, my Legionnaire on the left flank helping out. Got the other crap engaging the Panzerovnici. Don't want to let the SD-100 just keep getting free shots onto me, so moving up the AMX-10RC to help out. They're holding the line really, really nicely. I'm able to snipe the MTLB there, which is great. My 24 now coming overhead, and this is when I realised I don't really have much in the way of SHORAD. Apologies for that, you might notice the cut. We just had the emergency test in the UK. Tested our mobile networks to make sure that we're ready for World War III. Regardless, Kotal having a go at the MI-24 here, trying to get the shot on target. Really unfortunate that I'm not getting that shot because I do have 65% accuracy. I do have the AMX-10RC PC in here, providing extra veterancy. So those Kotal should be pretty strong. Like this Kotal, for example, was also benefiting from the veterancy of this AMX-10. Like it's really important that you do use leadership in WARNO because it increases like your accuracy by like 5% base. It also increases like rate of fire and other things. But T-34 is now coming in. Unfortunately, the seed that they're taking out one of the Kotals is going to severely weaken my AA network. But yeah, AMX-10 still going to work. Trying to take out as many T-34s as quickly as possible. The issue is, if they all start firing at me all at once, the AMX-10 is going to have a real bad time once they start to hit. So we're going to smoke that off and back it up. I've got 2 Legionnaire with Appalachian on the way, so those should be able to help us with the abundance of T-34s that are pushing me out. Meanwhile, VAB Milan and Mephisto Legion holding the line, and the Sappers still pushing through the cover there, so we've managed to completely sweep that out. Unfortunately, this AMX-10 didn't smoke in time and got taken out by the abundance of T-34s. Like at close range, they will eventually get shots on target where there is that many of them. So Legionnaire, unfortunately one of the Legionnaire I think got killed off in its transport as I was trying to get into position. The Legionnaire here goes for 2 for 2 though, with its first 2 Appalas, so that's nice. And we managed to take out one more, I'm hoping for one last. Meanwhile, Buratino now on the way. And that's going to be pretty nasty. Landing right next to my Tarask Legion. MX-10's here. Going to be able to turn and take out some of the T-34s. Now only one left. And Buratino not really hitting the mark because the MX-10 on the backside here managed to kind of stay away from that engagement. My Dynops can't really help me because I've got satchels, so this T-34 is just like freely charging forwards at the moment. It's really going to be reliant on my AMX-10 leader to get the job done. In this case, MI-24P actually managed to get a snipe onto my AMX-10 with the Kokon. That was rough, but the AMX-10 takes out the T-34. Mistral now on the left-hand side looking to try and take out the MI-24P, but the MI-24 does manage to take out my Recon in time, unfortunately. And the second Mistral also misses. I wasn't having much luck with my AA in this game, I'm gonna be honest. Like, those Legion Mistrals are supposed to be very good. But that 10% ECM on the MI-24 really paying off, apparently. They missed 3 times in a row. This Mephisto Legion, though, has really been holding the line. It's now 3 vet. Losing a little bit of accuracy due to its cohesion, but you can see when the cohesion is fine. 80% accuracy on the HGM. 224 coming in with the seed once again. Now got 2 Mistrals on the left-hand side, but 224 is going to catch one of my Crotau, and over time, my AA is slowly but surely getting taken out. In this deck, I only have 3 Crotaus, so as soon as this last Crotau goes down, I'm left in a bit of a hole. We've got 5 Mistrals, and the Mistrals really weren't performing very well. And then aside from that, I've got these Tarask Legion. We are able to take out a Modostralzi there with one of them, but they're not really going to be able to help with me with like aircraft anyway. Also, this Tarask Legion going to be catching a Buratino rocket. Mephisto Legion just about manages to get out of there, but the Su-24 coming in with the laser guided bomb finishes that one off. Now we are managing to get the Mistral on target of the Su-24 finally, and the Crow Tau finishes it off, so that was nice. But the AMX-10 RC Legion on the left hand side goes down, or sorry, on the right side of my forces goes down in the meantime. Also the Crap have finally been killed. Waiting for my AMX-10s back here to be fixed up so I can get them back to the front line, as the pressure coming in on the flank from Commissar is causing me to make plenty of mistakes. Silva, he's getting himself into a reasonable position here. Does need to be careful of that artillery, definitely very bunched up. Legion Mistral trying to get those shots on target, finally hitting the mark. But more reinforcements going to be on the way, more Legionnaire Abalas coming in. And on the left, yeah, Grim doing a good job here of kind of holding Lima for the time being. Had a rough start, but since I've managed to push through to Hotel, that's kept us ahead. Just need Silva to be able to get all these AMX-30s to work. Looks like the MO-24 might be holding him back for the time being. And now we got the double Mirage 2000s coming in, looking to kill the Su-24 Seed finally, because I want to be able to have the Crow Tau like doing its best here. But unfortunately, both the Mirage 2000s go down. The Su-24 survives, and that's going to be putting me in even more of a hole when it comes to dealing with enemy aircraft. MX-10RC here, I was really hoping we'd finish off the T8 EDK, but yeah, unfortunately RNG falling in my opponent's favour there, as he's reversing on the move with very low cohesion and still manages to land that shot, so not ideal. Don't have any more units really to stop Kama coming in with the T-72s, and also another T-80U from Ways to Eat Pie. So we are going to be starting to lose a little bit of ground here. They just don't have the forces in position to keep these back. I've got the two Legionnaire Apalas that are able to sweep out this tree line with the help of the Dynops. The Dynops can help with the infantry, the Legionnaire Apalas can deal with the tanks. Here comes Jaguar HE. Going to be bombing out at least one infantry there on the backside. So nice engagement, also kills off the leader that was capping that back. Do lose the Jaguar in the process, but it's good to keep us ahead on Conquest, especially where things are going to get very difficult. A lovely timing from this rocket artillery is going to land right on top of the Dynops and the Legionnaire Apalas as I'm trying to move forwards. Su-24 does get caught by the AA in the meantime, so that was good for us. And I've got a Gazelle here ready to try and intercept any tanks that are starting to break through. But the Legionnaire, or the Legion Mistral, still struggling to finish off the Su-24, even if it is flying right overhead. 60% ECM, very difficult to deal with sometimes. Nice kill though. We take out both the V3S that was pushing in and the other vehicle on the left hand side here. It's at this point where I realise my MX-10's probably overstayed its welcome. Great kill onto the T-80U by the Mephisto, but swiftly finished off afterwards by a lovely Su-25 strike that comes in and also takes out the Gazelle Hot 2. I was really hoping I could kill that on the way out, but it is going to survive as my AA at this point is very short range. I think all of the Crow Towers are finished off. Legionnaire Sappers on the way to help against the enemy infantry. Mephisto again getting a great shot in the T-72, and one goes down this time around. Now the MI-24V moving forwards, and the Legion Mistral going to have to get the job done, and they do at least manage to hit that one. Triple Gazelle Hot 2, looking to try and finish off the vehicles on the edge of the tree line. As I'm trying to run away with the MX-10 here, the Zaladzedze with the recoilless rifles actually get right into the back of the AMX, so that's not great. These T-21 Zaladzedze are really, really rough to deal with. You can see here how quickly they deal damage with those recoilless rifles. They're such chunky squads as well. I'm not even able to get on top of them with the Legion before they do so much damage, and that's probably like the worst part about it. So we're going to have to fall back from the infantry pushing me out there. I am at least able to take out the MI2 there, which had an infantry unit inside, so that's a good kill. Hot 2, really hoping that that can hit the Stärker, and it does manage to hit it before it dies, so huge kill actually for the Gazelle Hot 2. Gazelle cannons now on the way, as I'm getting kind of low on units on the ground, and this rocket artillery is oppressive. Buratino also going to be hitting really nicely here on the left-hand side. Perfect hit onto 2 of my Mistral squads, takes out the crap, takes out my supply, dealing a lot of damage to the MX-10, leaving the other Mistral with barely any extra ammo to work with. But another T-80U going down, and you can see we're still getting a lot of kills. This is just like a combination of forces that is trying to push me out right now, but we're holding the line as best we can. But without all of the AMX-10s in different positions to ambush stuff, it is really rough. Another Buratino smashing that location as the Gazelles use their 20 mils to try and rip these infantry. So one of the Zalotnitsa taken care of at least. They do have a limited amount of the T-21 Zalotnitsa. There's like 6 or 7 squads, depending on like what veterancy they bring them in. But they've had enough of those. MiG-21's coming over with their short-range missiles to finish off the 2 Gazelles. One of them does survive, but it does certainly weaken my capability against this infantry in the tree line. There's also 2 Tunguskas now pushing forwards very aggressively, so the AMX-10s that I have remaining are going to be shifting forwards to engage. Celtic gets taken down in the meantime. Also, you can see on the right here, the VAB Milan used up all of its missiles. The Mephisto has launched 5, and Silver's actually managed to capture Bravo. So whilst we have now lost Lima, Silver's taken Bravo. I'm able to take out both those Tunguskas, which is nice. That will allow me to maybe use the Gazelle cannons once again a bit more aggressively. But meanwhile, another AMX-10 RC gets popped. And the biggest problem that you have with these AMX-10s, which I guess I haven't really mentioned too much so far, is just how like weak they are. You know, they only have 3 front armor, so when you start getting hit by like even just like the Panzerwaffen here, which have 18 pen, or what would have been the T-21s, they just get banged. And in this case, the T-80 there, just one bang in the T-8 AMX-10 RC. That's why like having recon to spot the AMX-10s is so important. Because the MX-10s have a lot of firepower, but then if they get spotted, you can basically one-shot them, especially with the T-80s that Pi had at his disposal. Nice kill there onto the Gazelle Hot 2. I really just don't have any AA left at this point to even deal with any aircraft flying over me. So he's just freely shooting down all of my Gazelles, which is really, really sad. Also, at this point, I was hoping to bump into Zalotnitsa, but Commissar Krug's now brought up the SD-100s, so all of my infantry here, except from the anti-char, are going to be having a bit of a bad time. But I'm just trying to let the Gazelle cannon to try and get as many kills as possible, because in the sidearm and the Gazelle cannon should be able to kill these SD-100s pretty easily. Also got the Gazelle Hot 2 there, getting the shots on target. But 1,651 conquest to 700. We are ahead, but we've got to stay there. MiG-21 does go down, but takes out both my Gazelle cannon and the Gazelle Hot 2, so really rough. Now we've got a bit of a push coming in on the left-hand side here that I can't really deal with. Got the Legion Milan coming up, and they're getting ready to deal with the tanks that will be continuing to push through. Anti-char trying to move up, get the Atlas on target, and there goes one of them. There goes the second, 2 SD-100s down. But that's going to be all of the ammo used up, and also the MI-24 here dealing with its counter. My poor 20mm truck not able to get close enough before the MI-24 takes notice, and that does a lot of damage as well. So this was just like really bad timing for me, because my Legion Milans were like rushing up this road, and I'm forced to kind of keep the AMX-10 in cover whilst that MO24 just eats me up. Again, I've run out of AA at this point because I had to deal with all of the Su-24s throughout the game. I brought it all in very early, and now there's just nothing for me to like stop the MO24s, so it's probably something I'm going to have to adjust in the deck to make sure it doesn't happen in future. But this has been a very drawn out game. We're up to like 35 minutes in the game right now. MTLB does get sniped though, which is good. That's what we like to see. If we can kill these before they unload, that would be fantastic, because that one there is carrying an AT gun that up here. Going to be moving my AMX-10 out of the way because these sorts of AT guns are really, really nasty against AMX-10s. I am kind of limited on AMX-10s as well. You might also notice on the backside I did bring in a bunch of artillery, but I didn't actually unload it. So this was a mistake on my part. Like, having the artillery to help with the engagement against the infantry here in the tree lines would have been fantastic early on, and I just completely neglected it throughout the game. I bought it as a thought, but then I just never followed through as I constantly was under pressure on the front line here. So really rough. You can see my forces have been completely wiped out on my front. Silver's doing a good job though, starting to amass the forces to push out Kamakami. Baldus has been doing a good job of holding the line here. AMX-10 though, coming under fire from the Legere. And they've had a lovely duel on this side, Grim versus ND. ND managing to get the leader into the corner of the sector at the moment. But the M109s will be starting to fire in that direction. Nice job by them. We go on to the Milan too. I couldn't even see that. The MX-10 wasn't in position to get the very good optics on target. At least I managed to get the Blindee into position for the infantry, and you can see I'm now using that artillery that I mentioned earlier. Because yeah, I did buy this a lot sooner, but didn't really use it properly. Now again there, that's so sad for me. 45% accurate onto the MX-10. Good kill. On the move as well. Good tornado seed though. Takes out one of the Tunguskas. Gazelle Celtic. Trying to get them a Mistral on target. At least able to take out another T-80UD, but this AMX-10 now getting hit. And as you can see, there's definitely some sort of recon here now that's allowing him to spot my AMX-10s in advance. And you can see how much of a difference it makes, because I don't have recon, now he has recon. And so my AMX-10s are almost useless in this scenario because I can't push. I've got to try and like ambush him, but I can't ambush him if he knows where I am. So yeah, it's a tough one. I do have my Exceptional Optics helicopter here. See, it's got that like radar underneath it. It's really cool how that's animated in game. And that will be, you know, providing me with information of anything that tries to push onto this sector at India. I was just making sure that nobody could get there. But 1,651 still to 991 now, and he has almost managed to completely push Grim out of this sector, but he's got more reinforcements on the way, and he has managed to kill ND's leader. Now we got multiple T-72s pushing in, but my Legionnaires trying their best to hold them back with the other ACs. In this situation, there's no chance. The Legionnaires just have to run away. On this left-hand side, I did drop some bombs onto some ND's infantry here, just to help Grim maintain his foothold. But Voltage Alpalas moving up into position. Alpalas would certainly be a lot better here in this situation to help deal with the T-72, so I'm going to be slowly trying to move them over, and we're going to be backing up with the AMX-10 so that I can fix them up with the TRM-10,000. But it is only 1 minute left on the clock. I'm going to be sending some artillery over to the right-hand side of the map just to try and finish off any leader that might be in here, because I've got a P4 PC that I've been smoking into Bravo just to make sure that we hold the conquest points for this game. AMX-10 is also going to be moving over to provide extra veterancy to my units here. If any push comes through, we can engage that, but 40 seconds left on the clock. Iltis moving up for Grimguy, straight into the line of sight of the Mi-24P, finished off by the Buratinos. Really, really rough, but now my artillery landing on the far side of the sector is going to force them out or kill them off. One of the two. The P4PC was hoping to cap that before, but unfortunately gets killed off as the smoke runs out. But with 10 seconds left on the clock, we have just enough of a lead to be winning the game. And yeah, what a game it was. Really, really good stress test of the 6th French Light Tank Division, showing both the strengths and weaknesses of the AMX-10, as well as, you know, their limitations. I think the AA is something I certainly need to work on with this deck, because it was kind of scary. Also, availability of the MX-10s was something that I needed to change. And I did, I think, make some changes to this deck afterwards in order to account for that. You can see early on, like, the MX-10 RC Legion here managed to get into the backline, kill the Musters. It was a shame it bumped into a couple tanks on the backside there. But most of these AMX-10s were getting lots and lots of juicy kills. The Crotals eventually started hitting things and shooting them down, which was nice. It was all a numbers game in the end. Applelas kind of saving my bacon for a little bit. The Mephisto's actually doing great. I've really started to enjoy the ATGM gameplay in WARNO. Like, spreading out a bunch of troops and making sure that you have like these sort of AT traps. So there's like HGMs flying in from multiple directions, and therefore they can never front face to all of them at once. Yeah, it's really good fun. But either way, hopefully you guys enjoyed that game. Thank you very much for watching, and I'll see you in the next video. Goodbye.